Come on.
That's been the problem with Sammy Sosa. As big a producer as he's been at times, with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, he won't shorten his swing and he will make very little contact. And Rijo just blew him away with a good fastball.
Well, here's the Affleck trivia question. Which player is the all-time leader with opening day home runs? Obviously, it would be Babe Ruth, right? I have a feeling that would be wrong. How about Frank Robbins? Here's Mark Grace. The answer later. Oh, pops it up. Ah, boy, oh boy. Larkin makes the catch to retire the side. Rijo pitched out of the jam. No run. 1 hit. No errors. 2 left. We go into bottom of the third. 1-0 Cubs.
We're very fortunate to have such a wonderful family.
After his operation, his body was like twice the normal size. He was on this respirator for 3 weeks. It was kind of lonely around here.
I got Affleck through our company. The owner of the company felt that we should have it. It turned out fabulous.
Aflac covers the unexpected costs of getting better so you can get on with life.
Everything worked out wonderful.
Why did the Whopper beat the Big Mac and Wendy's single in taste test? The Whopper from Burger King is flame broiled. It tastes like it's hot off the barbecue. And that makes people happy. Did you ever see sad people sitting around a barbecue? Never.
Come in and ask for the winning Whopper and get it for just 99 cents, only at Burger King.
This is WGN Chicago.
Next is Lady. Exceptional sheen. Oh, very good color. Prince. Hands.
Oh, such stateliness, such majesty.
Larry. Larry.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? Mort.
You'll spot Forever Storm Doors in neighborhoods all across America, looking right at home on a stately brick Tudor or a Dutch Colonial. And from the moment you open a Forever Storm Door, you'll understand why so many families choose them. Quality like no other, guaranteed to last season to season, year to year. There's a Forever Storm Door style and color just right for your home. Call for a free brochure. Forever by Emco, the world's finest storm doors.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone with Tom Brenneman, who'll be along at the end of this half inning. We go in the bottom of the third with Jose Rijo, a fine hitting Cincinnati pitcher leading it off.
Rijo made some excellent pitches to get himself out of that third inning. It looked like the Cubs were ready to add to their lead, but Rijo just battened down the hatches and fanned Sammy. He got Mark Grace to pop up to get out of it.
Originally, Rijo was signed by the New York Yankees as a free agent back in 1980.
I think he was 15 or 16 years old at the time, Aaron.
Well, that was back in '81. If he's only 30 years old today, this year.
It's 14 years ago, so he's 16.
That works out, doesn't it?
Something in that neighborhood. Not being a mathematician.
I just found it hard to believe a guy 15 years old could be signed by a major league ball club, but the Reds have Joe Nuxall, who works with Tom Brenneman's dad. There's a slow roller. It's going to be out. Close play. As Buechele fielded it barehanded with a perfect throw, got him.
Good play by Steve Buechele. Rijo doesn't have the best speed around, but he makes a fine effort here, smelling a base hit. Buechele comes in, realizes he can't let it go foul, fires it across, and he gets him by a half step, and we'll watch the bare hand pickup. A fine effort by Buechele. And one of the things the Cubs won't have to worry about too often is their inner defense. It's just about as strong as anyone's.
I want to finish that sentence about Tom Brenneman's dad, Marty. who does the Cincinnati Reds games and has for some time. His partner is Joe Nuxhall, former Major League pitcher, who pitched in a Major League game when he was not quite 16 years old. Nuxhall's a bigger man without the coat and tie, and Marty's the excellent broadcaster, whose son is also an excellent broadcaster for the Cubs, does football for Fox, does basketball for I don't know who, University of Cincinnati, is a busy guy. As a matter of fact, WGN is well blessed in play-by-play men. They have two fellas, Wayne Larrivee and Tom Brunneman, who are outstanding in three major sports: basketball, football, and baseball. One out. There's a line drive. Deion Sanders is on. Boy, he is a good-looking hitter.
Davey Johnson, his manager, said that Deion just keeps getting better and better with every passing game. Deion gets a fastball and rips it. He is a tireless worker, very much now devoted to baseball, and has given every intention to the Reds that he will remain a Cincinnati Red until they are finished with their season, whenever that might be.
The 49ers will have to wait for him. Deion, picked the 49ers. He wanted to play for a winner, and he certainly had that right. Barry Larkin. The answer to the Aflac trivia question is Frank Robin. How did I know that?
Well, Harry, you're in your 51st year. You probably saw most of those home runs.
I saw a lot of them. Boy, he was a guy you'd never knock down. In those days, they knocked you down, not like today.
He was some hitter, wasn't he?
Oh, boy. You had him in Baltimore, too.
Yeah, what an outstanding player.
One out, one on. Boy, when you knocked him down, to cinch, you'd get a home run or an extra base hit the next time the ball was close to the plate. What a competitor. Tomorrow we'll be with you 1 hour earlier than today. Today we're with you at actually an hour and a half. 11:30 Chicago time tomorrow, and then home for a home opener. Real close.
Deion
almost got him.
Deion is getting a big lead at first base, and you know that he's just about ready to take off. That was a good quick move by Bullinger. Wilkins looking over in the dugout to see if perhaps Jim Riggleman might want to pitch out here.
Barry Larkin, the ball and a strike. There he started, didn't go. Whoa, the ball got away from Wilkins.
That's got to go as a pass ball as Wilkins has the ball hit off the glove. He might have been paying a little attention to Deion Sanders, because Deion faked it at first base. And Wilkins just plain missed it.
Yeah. Let's pause for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN TV, Chicago.
So a pass ball has put Deion Sanders in scoring position. Barry Larkin, the hitter. A high pop foul, but in the stands, unplayable, except by a spectator. I hate to see that happen on the first game of the season, a pass ball by Wilkins, because that's liable to make put that on his mind. He had quite a few of them a year ago.
Well, he had a tough year offensively and defensively last year, Harry, but I do believe that if he starts swinging the bat, his defense will come along with it. I think many times young players, and Rick Wilkins certainly is that, have a tendency to take their bat to the field with them. And if he does swing the bat like he did a couple of years ago, he certainly throws well enough. Last year he led the National League, 43%, cutting down base runners trying to steal, so there's nothing wrong with the arm. Maybe a little more concentration behind the plate, and that'll come with maybe a little more experience.
2-2 pitch. I tell you, this is a tough cookie up at the plate. What a all-around outstanding ball player he is. Got a hit in the third inning. Got a hit in the first inning. That's a ball that Dunson made a great stop going to his right and almost threw him out. And Larkin, one of the fastest men in baseball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, he almost had the fastball by him, but Larkin swung just in time to foul it off. And Wilkins goes out to talk to Bully. One out, one on.
There's a look at the new Cubs skipper, Jim Riggleman, who's got the lead and would like to keep it for a little while longer.
There goes Dion. Oh, he doesn't. Wilkins held the ball. I guess he figured he couldn't get him. Although it looked as if he had a play.
I don't know if Rick Wilkins had a grip on this one, because it looked like he might have had a shot at Sanders. Watch it here. Wilkins comes up, but looks to me like he didn't have a grip on the ball. He made no effort to try to throw him out. So now the at-bat becomes a little bit easier for Larkin. With a 3-2 count, you've got him back in the middle of the infield, and at the corners they're in a step.
Larkin doesn't strike out too often. Three balls, 2 strikes. Walked him. And that brings up their leading hitter, Hal Morris. It goes to show you what a particular talent of one individual can do to a ball game. Deion Sanders singled. Everybody in the world knows he's liable to steal. And Wilkins' pass ball allowed him to take second. Then he stole third. Wilkins holding on to the ball. And now here's the best hitter of the Reds, hitting .324 in spring games. High percentage hitter. They throw to second, the runner's safe. Deion Sanders held third. Now, if they want, they can walk Morris intentionally.
I think Jim Bullinger just forgot about Barry Larkin at first base. He never really took a look at him, and Wilkins trying to gun him down at second. Does not make a good throw again, but Larkin was in easily at second. You see Dunston having to knock the ball down to keep it from going to center field. So the Reds, as billed, running at will. This is a very aggressive and very fast team. They've already stolen 3 bases.
Morris last year hit .335 with 10 home runs. The infield now comes in. Now they drop back at Sharp and second. 1 ball, no strikes. awfully early in the game to give intentional passes, but I was just thinking it would bring up a right-hand hitter who might hit into a double play. Ball 2.
Morris has very good power to left and left center field. Now Scott Bullitt is not very deep in left, and Brian McRae is playing straightaway center. That gap in left center very inviting to Morris most of the time. And Wilkins looking over. You see the outfield hits, as many in left field as right field, which is most unusual.
High, ball 3. Ron Gant would be next.
You just as soon put him on in this situation. You've gone 3-0. You might as well throw ball 4 and take your chances with Gant. And I think that's exactly what Riggleman is going to do.
That's what they're going to do. So what I thought originally, that having intentionally walked him as you would from the beginning, but the fourth pitch being intentionally outside makes it technically a intentional pass on your scorebook and in the statistics.
Well, the Reds say that Gant is running every bit as well as he ran before he shattered his leg in a dirt bike accident. But with this very fast infield here in Cincinnati on the artificial surface, and as hard as Gant hits the ball, the Cub infield looking for 2.
The infield back now, hoping for the double play. A little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. The Cubs 1-0 lead is in jeopardy right here.
There's what Ron Gant has done with the bases loaded over the course of his career, and he's been pretty impressive.
Now ready. He fouls it back, and the count is even now. Gant strikes out more frequently than a guy like Morris.
I think what Bullinger would like to do here, instead of a high fastball, is try to go with a curveball which Gant can pound into the ground.
One ball, 1 strike. Bases are loaded. Strike 2. Good fast curveball that time. 1-2 the count. Morris at first, Larkin at second, Boone and Sanders at third. For the Reds, who trail 1-0. Bottom of the 3rd. That evens it up 2-2. Bullinger keeping the ball down so far, hoping for that double play. Dunson and Chance Sanchez playing Gant to hit the ball up the middle.
Curveball that Bullinger had set him up for, and Jim Garman said it was too inside. Watch it again. Bullinger wants this. Wilkins wants it.
Could have been, but it wasn't. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The crowd alive. Ron Gant, the hitter, with the bases loaded. Ground ball right to the mound. Over the plate, 1. Down to first, a double play. He saw that bat right off of Ron Gant's hand. 1, 2, 3 on the double play. And the
double savings on virtually
4. And it is no runs. 1 hit. 2 left. Harry Carey from Riverfront. At the end of 3, the Cubs still lead 1-0.
When you gotta get there this afternoon, Southwest has a flight that's leaving soon. Or if you like to fly by the light of the moon, Southwest has a flight that's leaving soon. You got places to go and people to see. Southwest has a flight that's leaving soon. Tune into that Southwest frequency, not just a low-fare airline. Catch a flight that's leaving soon. Southwest is the low-fare airline. Little word, big difference.
Okay, Ernie, what do you got?
How about this one? The Cubs will arrive in 95.
Not bad.
The Cubs will jive in 95.
Jive.
The Cubs will come to life in 95.
Good thought, but life and 5 don't really rhyme, do they?
The Cubs will come alive in 95.
Perfect. I like that. You sure you didn't use that back in 75?
Pretty sure.
Why did the Whopper beat the Big Mac and Wendy's single in taste test? The Whopper from Burger King is flame broiled. It tastes like it's hot off the barbecue. And that makes people happy. Did you ever see sad people sitting around a barbecue? Never.
Come in and ask for the winning Whopper and get it for just 99 cents, only at Burger King.
This is WGN Chicago.
And a good afternoon, everybody. Alongside our producer, director Arnie Harrison, Steve Stone, I'm Tom Brenneman back in Cincinnati opening day. And how about that bases loaded 1-2-3 double play turned in by the Cubs?
Well, both pitchers have been able to wiggle off the hook. Jim Bullinger was outstanding last inning, and Tommy, the Cubs have the lead.
Jose Rijo on the mound today, and Wilkins looks at ball 1 high. And Bullinger had been very good in terms of his control the first 2 innings, a little wild there in the 3rd.
Well, I think Rick Wilkins didn't help him last inning, but fortunately it worked out well, and Bullinger came on and certainly did the job. This has been quite an opening day game.
Well, Mother Nature could not have been more cooperative here today. Mostly sunny skies and temperatures up above 70 degrees here in Cincinnati. And Wilkins hits one, and Ronnie Gant in left field, and that's the first out here in the Cub 4th inning. 1 run, 1 hit for the Cubs. Their only run, an unearned run back in the 2nd against Rijo, set up by an error from first baseman Hal Morris. Bullinger has blanked the Reds on 3 hits.
Pretty tough error to give Hal Morris. Wilkins hit the ball pretty hard, and it didn't look like Morris got a glove on it. It looked like it hit off his foot and carried him down the line, but in any event, the Cubs were able to score the run, and so far Jim Bullinger has made it hold up.
Batter now Sean Dunston. He helped set up that run with a sacrifice bunt, getting Wilkins down to 3rd after the error by Morris. And he scored on a shattered bat roller to Larkin from Steve Buechele. Rijo, one of the best around. And Dunston hits a fly ball right side of the infield. Brett Boone is here for out number 2. Well, here's another look at that double play with the bases loaded to get out of the 3rd.
Great pitch by Bullinger. He throws a sinker. It moves in on the hands. And watch Wilkie. This is a good play by Wilkins as he shifts out toward the middle of the diamond to get an angle on the throw to first. And you saw Bullinger with a hop, skip, and a jump, showing his elation getting out of a bases loaded jam.
2 down, nobody on. Steve Buechele knocked in a run with a ground out to Larkin. The only run of the game in the 2nd inning. Rijo, a 3.08 ERA a season ago. By far his highest since coming to Cincinnati. He had never had an ERA in his prior 6 years here over 3. 1-1.
Cubs have won 8 straight road openers, and the last time they opened up here, Back in 1982, they beat Mario Soto. Doug Bird getting the win in that one, 3-2. So it's been a while since the Cubs have opened up against the Reds. We've got a couple of new coaches here, Tommy. Before the game, I was down around the batting cage. Hal McRae, who managed Kansas City, was introducing somebody to Davey Johnson. He said, I want you to meet our manager, Davey Nelson. So I looked over at Davey Johnson, of course, and I said, it's nice that you guys are a close staff.
Of course, Jim Riggleman on the other side, managing his first regular season game for the Chicago Cubs. Last 2+ seasons in San Diego. Two and two on Buechele. 2 down, nobody on here in the 4th. And there's strike 3, which ends the inning. Rijo's 3rd strikeout of the game and his first perfect inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Still the Cubs 1, Cincinnati nothing.
On the Wayans brothers, Marlon's desperate when he falls for a woman of culture.
Don't say anything until I give you the right words to use.
I had no idea you were so romantic.
That's because I was dumbfounded by your beauty.
And that's because I was dumbfounded by your booty.
The Wayans brothers. Then on the Parenthood, Nicholas's invisible friend has Robert psyched out.
Thank you for coming.
What do you mean by that?
The WB Comedy, tonight at 7 on WGN. Watch what happens to these scratches and swirl marks. New advanced formula Color Magic Car Polish from Turtle Wax contains more colorants to help hide minor scratches and swirl marks better than ever, while giving your car 12 months of unsurpassed Turtle Wax protection against the elements. Even on old neglected finishes, advanced formula Color Magic works like magic, bringing back the color and shine. Hide scratches and swirl marks better than ever with new advanced formula Turtle Wax Color Magic.
The Bud Light Amateur Beach Challenge. They're lean. They're mean.
Oh, they're killing us.
Yeah.
How about 2 out of 3?
I got it.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down,
What's wrong with her?
make it a Bud Light.
Come on, tough guy.
2 tough for just 1 night. WGN presents 2 nights of all Chuck action. Breaker and Lone Wolf McQuade. Thursday and Friday at 11:30 on WGN.
Tom Brenneman, Steve Stone, and our entire Channel 9 crew back at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Gorgeous day, big crowd, 1-0 Cubs lead it after 3.5. Brett Boone, Benito Santiago, and Reggie Sanders due up against Jim Bullinger here in the inning. Ball 1 to Boone. His first time up sent Sosa to the wall in right field.
Brett Boone is a very aggressive hitter and will air it out on just about every cut regardless of where the ball is. He's strong.
And Boone a little shorter this time, shy of the track Sosa's way, 1 away. Well, obviously 1995 a very different season for Major League Baseball. Some of the rules to keep an eye on here in 95, of course, only 144 games to be played.
And then the expanded rosters, they have to be cut down to 25 by May 15th. You've heard about salary arbitration, and some cases will go into next month before there's a resolution. And of course, as we all know all too well, there is no agreement, playing under the terms of the old collective bargaining agreement.
Benito Santiago, first pitch swinging, dumps it out of play. Santiago fouled out to Grace his first trip.
Now, something to keep in mind, both of these pitchers have really piled up the pitches early in this one. So you have to wonder at this point just how long both managers will go with their starters. Both starters throwing the ball pretty well at this point. And of course, Bullinger got out of a nasty jam in the 3rd inning. The same thing with Rijo. He had runners at 2nd and 3rd and only 1 out and got out of it.
Stoney, you have touched on it already in spring training. Both of these pitchers threw winter ball. And so they are further ahead than most at this point of the season than maybe some other guys they could have been lifted by now. Santiago into right field. And there are 2 down.
Well, as it turned out, it really swung to a big advantage to any of the pitchers who happened to throw winter ball. Frank Castillo, one of the guys who threw winter ball, Tommy, and he was close to unhittable this spring. So more than any other year, any guy who did have a chance to pitch in winter ball probably came into spring training that much farther ahead of the guys who sat around most of the strike wondering just exactly when it would be over.
Bullinger trying to notch his first perfect inning. Rijo did in the top half of this fourth. Cubs lead 1-0. And here's Reggie Sanders. Sanders playing with an injured quad muscle in his right thigh. And clearly when he had that infield hit in the hole at short in the second inning, he was unable to air it out because this guy can really run.
They already have Eric Anthony, who's one of their guys they look to in the outfield on the disabled list.
Had some bone spurs taken out of his elbow. There you see tomorrow. We'll get on the air at 11:30 a.m. Steve Traxel, outstanding rookie season in '94 against John Smiley, the veteran left-hander, and we invite you as always to be with us. 2-game series and a home opener on Friday. 3-0 to Reggie Sanders.
Now Sanders might be one of the guys that you would look to give the 3-0 green light. He is very strong. They do project somewhere down the road that he will eventually hit 30 home runs, so you can't just lay this one in there and hope for the best. You got to make a pretty good pitch.
Bullinger has only given him 3 hits. 3-0 pitch. And it was not to Sanders' liking, although it goes for a strike. On the ground, Sanchez picks it up, and Bullinger retires aside in order. We have played 4 opening day here in Cincinnati, and so far so good for the Cubs. They lead 1-0.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by your local Buick dealers, the new symbol for quality in America.
Hey, listen, the all-new GMC Sonoma was designed to be quiet. To hear more, or less, see your dealer. Go to your GMC truck dealer instead. Because right now, they can help you save big time on the all-new GMC Sonoma. So see your dealer today.
There's a place where lovers go to cry their troubles away, and they call it Lonesome Town, where the
Yes!
hearts stay.
Yes!
You can buy a dream or two.
Treat your favorite Cubs fan to Vine Line, the Cubs monthly newspaper. Receive a free 8x10 photograph of your name in lights on Wrigley Field's marquee when you order a 2-year gift subscription. Call 1-800-248-WINS and subscribe today.
Hi, I'm Ernie Baggs. It's a beautiful day. Let's play 2. Oh, let's play 1. Let's just play. Come on, let's play.
On an all-new muscle, Kent may have finally figured out who the killer is.
Aborigines?
Tonight at 8:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Tom Brenneman back in Cincinnati, a chance to visit with Cubs center fielder Brian McRae. And obviously you look to the other side of the field today. Brian, you've been asked about it before. Your father Hal, you played for him in Kansas City, and now he's on the other side.
Yeah, it was kind of odd walking out here and looking across the field, seeing him in a Reds uniform again. Both of us kind of took a look back, and it was odd because, you know, for the last 4.5 years or so, we've been in Royals uniforms, and now we're both over here in the National League.
All right, you're in the National League. This is your opening game. How do you feel? Any different from being in the American League at all?
Not really. Just have to learn new stadiums. But from what I heard, most of the stadiums in the National League look like this one. They're all round, circular stadiums. AstroTurf, Philly, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, St. Louis. So I just have to learn new ballparks all over again and learn the hitters and the pitchers and just things like that. So it's going to be adjustment period for me. But it's just like being a rookie all over again.
How the last few years you had a chance to manage your son. Tell us what kind of player he is, what the fans can look for in Chicago. And secondly, what's it like to be on the other side against him today here in Cincinnati?
Well, I enjoyed the experience of managing Brian in Kansas City, but it's going to be a lot more fun for me to watch him play for another ball club and another organization. Emotionally, how I'm going to feel watching him play during the course of the ball game today, I really don't know. We got a situation where, a base hit beats us, a ground ball double play, we win the ball game. I don't know what my emotions are going to be, but I'm going to have fun, and I'm sure he's going to delight the fans in Chicago.
Al McRae, former Cincinnati player, came up through their farm system and, of course, was later sent to Kansas City. But he's now the hitting coach of the Reds, and Brian waits on deck. Boy, that's got to be tough. When you're on the same side, that's one thing. But when you're on opposite sides, I think Cal said it a lot better than I could.
Well, I got a feeling that even though he roots for Brian to do exceptionally well with the game on the line, as much of a competitor as Hal was, he's going to be rooting for the Reds to win.
Check swing grounder down to Willie Green. His throw on the money to Morris to retire Bullinger, and Rijo now starting to settle in. He has retired the last 8 and doesn't appear to be weakening.
Davey Johnson said the one thing he'll look for with Jose Rijo is when he starts really speeding up on the mound, trying to work very quickly. He says when that happens, he realizes that Rijo might be tiring somewhat, but he shows no signs of tiring to this point, with the Cubs nursing that 1-run lead, and so far Jim Bullinger has been able to match him pretty much pitch for pitch. Good outing for Bully so far.
1 of 2 is Brian McRae. He struck out in the first inning, singled hard to left field in the third. The 1-0 pitch goes to 2-0. The Cubs missed chances against Rijo in the first inning with Sosa at second base. Grace a ground out to third. And then a huge third inning chance as that one is missed. 1 and 2. They had runners at second and third with only 1 out. Rijo struck out Sosa, and then Grace again